Well, we hunted all day yesterday, and we kind of get you up to speed here with what went on. We tried a little fishing yesterday evening after doing some turkey hunting. No success on the turkey. And then a trip back to the house. We saw, let's say, 5 male turkeys cross the road right nearby here. 3 of them look like pretty good toms. And we are just out in the area where we saw them go. It was late in the evening, so we were hoping that they didn't travel too far and maybe roosted. So we're doing like a big maybe a mile or 2 circle back in here where we had last seen them, and doing a little calling, and we are hoping that we bump into them. We've been doing a little walking.
Yeah, little hills, little flat areas, some fields, some water, trying to hit it all and just see if we can visualize anything at this point. Haven't seen anything this morning yet, but
nothing yet. No,
nothing yet, but we're hopeful, so we'll see what happens.
We're seeing if we can come up with something. It only takes one at a time, so we'll see what we can do.
Okay, so we jumped in the woods here, and this woods probably was 60 to 80 acres probably, and surrounded by kind of swamp and lakes all around it. So we kind of really thought that these turkeys would probably be in there. We've kind of figured they maybe would roosted overnight, and hopefully we could get in there and maybe call a couple times and maybe locate them. But that didn't seem to be the case. So we just kind of milled around, and we're hoping that we were going to see something. The woods wasn't real thick, so it was relatively easy to see through, and it was good for visibility and stuff like that, but we just couldn't run across them. So once we kind of got to the edge of the woods and got back to where we started, basically the only thing that we ran into, we did run into a bear in here, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get the camera on him and get some footage of him. But anyway, so we left the area where we parked and actually walked where these turkeys came from, and we're kind of hoping we could see what they were up to or where they were coming from. And basically they were just coming down a trail from the lake. So we decided to cut our losses and just go fishing for the rest of the day. This was to be our last turkey hunt of the trip, or so we thought. You'll find out more about that later. But for now, we are heading back to the truck and headed to the lake. Okay, so we have been walking all day, putting on miles looking for turkeys, and no luck at all. So we said, screw it, we're going to try bust through some ice and go find some crappies. And Scott figures he's got a line on where the crappies are, and we're going to give her a try. But we got to bust through some ice to get out there, and we're going to just see how that goes.
So we're just going in. We're going to, even though the lake is still cold, there's a bay that has been open for probably a week and a half. So we're going to see if that's collected enough warm water to be a good spot for crappies. We'll probably check the water temperature when we get in there, and kind of move around and see if we can't pick up some crappies.
Okay, so we made it through that ice, which was really not that thick. It was kind of a floating, slushy, just a slush type of ice. There was a couple of spots where it was a little bit thicker, whatever, but we made it through. So we were heading to there's a little back bay that opens probably a week to week and a half before the main lake does. And traditionally that's where the crappies go. That little body of water warms up much faster than the regular lake. So that's where we were heading. We cruised in here, got in a little bit of open water, and Scott said, "Hey, I see a couple crappies," so we just stopped and fished quick, but nothing. So we headed over to this bay, and unfortunately, as you can see, this little patch of cattails and mud was blown into the entrance. So after scratching our heads for a little bit, generally you can, if these aren't real big, you can move them. But this one didn't look real big, so we decided, hey, we're gonna see if we can push it with the boat. It wouldn't move, so we decided to try and pull it, and that didn't exactly work either. So we decided, after a little head scratching, a little thinking, we decided we were going to try and tie a rope to it somehow and see if we could pull it out of the way. So you can enjoy this next little bit on watching us see if we can move this cattail patch. If we can move it, we're going to get on some crappies, and if we can't, it's going to kind of be the way things have been going lately.
Alright, so we're trying to get into that bay, and we have a floating specimen in our way. So we're gonna tie up to it, turn the boat around, and hopefully give her a yank, see if we can tow the channel open, and hopefully find some crappies in there. We saw a few floating around out here, swimming up shallow, so that's our hope, to find some more up here.
Hand me that towel. I need to get this stick over here. I need to get this stick over here. The stick. I will tie the rope onto the stick. Throw it on the other side of this big sink too much.
Ready?
Yep. Give me a hand with that, Jacob. Oh. We're moving. I don't want it to break through. I got it hooked through that like root ball down the bottom. Okay, not too much too quick though. It's going.
We ain't making no ground. Well, we kind of struck out here. We couldn't get into that bay, couldn't get that cattail mass moved, so we fished this little body of open water here, and no luck. So we decided to head back to Scott's. This was the last day that we were going to be out hunting and fishing, and we were going to head back the next morning, so we decided to just head in and get a good meal and just spend some time together, just sitting around the fire. But the next morning we did have an interesting little surprise, and I will put together a small video on that for you, and hopefully you'll check that out. Hopefully you like this video and our vlog, and just please keep watching, please like and subscribe, and have a good day.